What is a split-second decision you made that changed your life? I was nearly killed in a multi-vehicular accident when I was 25. The first police officer on the scene pronounced me dead, but, luckily for me, there was a nurse on hand to confirm that, while I was gravely injured and in shock, which means that you don't have a pulse in your arms and legs because your blood pressure is so low, I was actually alive. By the time the ambulance got there, I was conscious and screaming from the pain of my injuries. I had broken both my legs, my pelvis and 3 vertebrae. They were not displaced, but the source of my agony was a dislocated knee joint. My kneecap was 6 to 8 inches north of where it should be and my upper and lower leg bones overlapped by 3 or 4 inches. It hurt. A lot. So, they cut me out of my car and got me into the ambulance and rushed me to the hospital. I was in bad enough shape that they called ahead, so an orthopedist was waiting for me. Unfortunately for me, he was a newly minted doctor fresh out of his residency. When he came into the exam room, he did not ask my name, did not introduce himself, did not examine me, did not look at my chart, did not attempt to take the pulse in the ankle of the mangled leg. What he did do was say, "Oh, that leg has to come off." Those were literally the first words out of his mouth. Now, my sister is a nurse and my mother wanted me to be a doctor, so I knew that he should have at least looked at my chart and attempted an exam. I was so angry at his utter lack of bedside manner that my immediate response was, "If I lose my leg, you'll lose your license." Honestly, I don't know who was more surprised, him or me. Admittedly, I was having a really bad day, but normally I would never say anything like that to anyone. Now, what I didn't know at the time was that in 95% of the cases where a person has a dislocated knee joint the way I did, the femoral artery that supplies blood to the lower leg is crushed beyond repair. But I was extraordinarily flexible, and luckily, my femoral artery was not damaged. So after a short but pointed argument and a bit of malpractice, on the doctor's part, my injury was reduced and I got to keep my leg below the knee. It has taken a lot of surgery to fix the damage and more than a decade of physical therapy to relearn how to walk, but I can walk and 99% of people won't notice my limp. So that is how a split-second decision changed my life. If I had let the doctor amputate, no one would have known that my artery hadn't been crushed and I'd have a prosthesis and be buying my shoes one at a time. I thank goodness every day that I said what I did to that insufferable jerk.